of the best damn season ever.
Tell them. What is it? What is it?
It's Taurus season.
Absolutely.
Fear the bull.
I feel my horns growing in.
We may be calm and cool and we may graze in the grass, but once we see red, definitely a wrap for you suckers. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's so much we have to get into. So Monday we broke bread Monday.
Yes.
Monday we broke bread. Monday we sat down, we broke bread, we had good conversation. What else did we do?
We watched that freaking New Impressions yet again. Again.
TJ.
How many times did we watch that?
I don't know, but TJ, y'all are stuck in my head. Like, y'all are stuck in my head. Shout out to New Impressions for all that crank. And unfortunately today, we were supposed to be with Barry Tyler's All-Star Band.
Yes.
We were also supposed to make it up here to do Nephew's birthday show on Abstract Excellence, but
Life happens.
it does. And I was just telling my viewers on Facebook that I had to remind myself several times today that I cannot allow it to anger me or it becomes me. So it's like working through a million and one things. You take 50 steps forward. Of course, you're going to get knocked back 150 because the devil is trying to test you. The universe is trying to come against you. But God is trying to make sure that mustard seed, that faith the size of a mustard seed is implanted in you enough for you to know that it may not get better right now, but it will get better indefinitely.
This weather trying to test me too.
Ooh, it's a Taurus walking through the door. It's a Taurus walking through the door. Happy almost birthday. Or is it quite birthday?
Where everybody at?
He on the way.
Oh, they late.
Yes.
Is this what Montana was?
Nope. Tana is at work. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down a Taurus.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So that's how?
Yeah. We are down a Taurus, ladies and gentlemen. And we are down a co-host, Miss Cece. But shout out to both of them. We love them dearly. We know that life happens and things take place. Them damn fans are definitely still here, holding it down just for you guys and making sure that you guys know that this is just the beginning. So we watched the New Impressions again.
I want to say I watched it maybe 6 times altogether.
I'm with you. I think I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you on that one. Definitely had to catch that wreck again because every time you watch it, you catch something that you missed. And it was a lot to catch.
Yeah. That damn Congo player and that bass player together.
Yeah, they were having a great time back there. Like, what I love is the chemistry that they have together on stage, and the fact that they're having fun makes me want to have fun. And the energy level is on 1,000,000. Even with the front line, it's just on 1,000,000. So that made my week. But we sat down and broke bread after we got to slide into the secret Mitchcraft location. I took Gigi to the bad place.
The sunken place.
Yeah, she went to the sunken place. She didn't make it into the bad place.
I didn't.
I took Gigi to the sunken place, and we spent $420 with the wizard himself, Montu, and everything hippie. And that was an amazing Monday. It was a hell of a way to kick the week off. Mondays are my only off days.
And every time I looked at the table, I'd see something freaking different that I wanted.
Shout out to the wizard. Shout
listen,
out to the wizard.
I was finished shopping.
I wasn't.
Then, next thing you know, he
42% at $420 until 5 o'clock.
He hit that 42%, and then I suddenly
3 more shirts.
3 more shirts.
Immediately. I need this, and this, and these sizes. While he's not looking.
swear.
So we had a great time on Monday. It's been a week for me. So I've taken on a full-time job because PG County schools are out. I actually work in Largo at Homeboys Seafood. Shout out to my mentor, Miss Jackie, who brought me on board and brought my son on board. But I'm going to say this. It's a lot of people in GoGo who love seafood. I've run into a lot of y'all and recognize y'all with masks on, sunglasses on, hats on. Let me tell you something. I am a F-A-N. Okay?
Okay?
Can't hide from me. Fan. A real one. A fan. But shout out to everybody. I pray that you guys are staying safe during this season of I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to call it craziness. I don't want to call it inconsistency. But the earth seems to love it. Pollution rates are down. You can actually see that the ozone layer hole is healing from the pictures that they're showing. The waters look clearer. The waters look clearer. It's less smog. However, I'm going to say this.
Stay their ass on earth.
These are my views, and nobody else at this table has to agree with them. Shame on any place in Asia that is shunning African Americans or anyone that looks like they are from African descent. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Hi.
Y'all are banning people from malls. Y'all have put people out of homes and had them sleeping outside of their homes on the ground. Y'all have put people in a bad situation and basically made them feel like they are less than human beings. And what I'm going to say to that is shame on you. You do not want to be typecast, discriminated against, or associated with anything negative. Please do not treat people of color in that nature. It is disrespectful. It is degrading. It is belittling, and it's very, very, very inhumane. That is the nicest way I can say it.
Wow.
I saw a video on social media where these young ladies were trying to go into the mall, and security was like, no. And they were with a Caucasian lady, and she was talking to him, and he said, yeah, you're okay. Them, They showed videos of people having to sleep outside on the streets outside of their house because they were coming in the middle of the night, putting them out of their houses.
Wow.
I'm very upset. I try to stay away from the news, but that was something I could not get away from. So, prayers up to everybody who was over there. I've heard they are calling for a boycott here of all businesses that are owned and operated by Asians because of their mistreatment in the country. So,
Any particular Asian country or just all of Asia? Oh, wow.
it's not a good look.
Isn't that where this COVID-19 came from? I'm just asking.
There are 50 million theories about where it came from and what it really is, whether it's man-made, where it's not man-made, if it came from a bear that bit a bat that ate a human. I don't know. Like, it's so many different theories and so much foolishness associated and surrounded by it. And then that guy who's the color of that wall over there telling people to inject themselves with Clorox.
What?
Inject yourself with Clorox.
He said he was being sarcastic. That's funny.
Inject yourself with Clorox. It'll kill COVID-19 if it's in your system.
What? He's an idiot.
That is not something to joke about. He has a cult-like following that I believe would actually try it. It's like Jim Jones and drinking the Kool-Aid. But we're going to get off of those topics and get into all things Deuce and Sound and almost birthday guy. Are you excited?
Sort of and sort of not because COVID-19. I was just like,
no.
I can't go out and do what I really wanted to do.
Suck the life out of everything.
It's like they just canceled tour season, man.
Well, it canceled Pisces season first, then Aries, and it was like, hey, Taurus, I'm not finished.
Yeah, you thought it was.
Hey,
That's what you thought. Yeah.
Dear Gemini, y'all on the chopping block next, Holmes. Go ahead and get your life in order. Hey, Cancer, looking a little iffy for you too, Slim.
Yeah.
Because I still
But
think...
just know we're invading whatever.
I don't care what season it is when it comes out. We busting that thing wide open. And we not going to tell you bring it back. Because we up on it. We not sliding away. But I do believe on the other side of this, there'll still be restrictions. I think that there'll still be gatherings of 100 or less for a while until we can find some type of normalcy. And these fools are out here robbing people with these disposable medical masks and black T-shirts over their heads. Like, please, y'all. Like, come on, man. Come on. We're wearing these to protect ourselves. Don't turn it into a criminal situation and then they do enact martial law and we cannot go anywhere for real. Like, you need a whole pass to get off your street if they enact martial law.
Sad part is people robbing other people. You too fucking you got that much energy to go out here and rob somebody. Use that same energy to find yourself a job and work for the things that you're trying to steal.
Guess what? They need plenty of essential workers. CVS is hiring. All of the grocery stores are hiring. Amazon is hiring.
UPS is always hiring.
I mean, like...
And the post office, too.
And for all the men that are robbing women, y'all some cold suckers.
Suckers.
Some people lazy. They don't want to work.
So you think it's supposed to be handed to you?
I don't know what's going on with these dudes, man.
Welcome to the party, sir.
Hey,
Hello.
there you go.
See, now you're not alone.
I was like, where JB at? What's up, dude?
He's on the way.
Taking care of parents real quick.
That's the way it's
That's what I was
supposed to be.
just doing.
And that's
I just
can you
came
plug
off
that in
so.
for me?
Oh, Jay got the cord in the chair with him.
Right. That cord right there. No, you just had your hand.
Well, you definitely have to mic yourself up, too. But how are you holding up?
Oh, I'm holding up. You know, just
What are you doing to divert your attention?
not thinking about it. You gotta feed yourself positive thoughts. You gotta say, hey, you know, this could be worse than what it is. You know,
We could be like New York.
Yeah, exactly.
New York is a hot mess.
It's messed up there.
And then Georgia reopened.
I don't know about all that down there.
You know how many hot spots? You know how many new cases?
Yeah, I think they're not. I don't know.
683 new cases
In New York?
In Georgia.
from them opening back up.
Yeah.
That's why my sister said she's not even leaving the house.
You shouldn't.
Because she lives in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
They just trying to get.
My niece went to go visit her family. My niece is like 5. She just turned 6. She can't even. She went to visit her family in New York, and
she can't come back.
She can't even come home.
Wow.
They not playing. They making them people go back in the house. You go back in. Where are you going? And a lot of these people don't realize this. Even if y'all feel like it's not real, it's fictitious, just do what the people say. That's all.
It's definitely real because I had 3 members from my Howard University football team. This year passed. In the last 4 months.
That's crazy.
And they were healthy. No iron conditions or anything.
Shout out to Easy and Everett. I am praying for both of y'all. Keep on pushing, fellas. Everett did a live and he said, and he put a post up that said, if y'all think it's like fighting the flu, it's nothing like that. I'm still fighting. So prayers up to everybody that's been affected by it. It's kind of hard not to think about it though. Because I know right now my face will be on like 37 flyers and I'll be trying to figure out how to make it to all these parties for tourist season. But at the same time, I feel like this is stock and grind season. Like if you can get it, get the money.
Yeah, because it's not what you gonna spend it on. It's like you can't go out.
Tennis shoes. If you
Mitch-
ask
Mitch
Gigi,
Craft and
definitely
sneakers.
Mitch Craft.
Miss Craft.
Definite.
That's my
Sneakers.
man, mine too.
Definitely the wizard.
That's
Definitely.
what-
And he's going ham. Like, he like, well, I ain't doing nothing. Let's create. And then
that's what
something drops. And you're like, I need it.
That's where my coins have been going.
Well, he's doing what's smart. Some people see this as an opportunity. So like, if you got more time in your hands, get creative.
And you get a larger audience.
Yeah.
A larger audience. People are at home. Even if they're working, they're still, a lot of them are doing nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
They ain't hit them with them sales like me.
That 42% off disturbed their whole soul.
Did.
So last time you guys were here, we really didn't get into the conversations that we really needed to get into.
Oh, he had to work.
Yes, Montana is working. He is an essential employee twice over. So let's go. Let's get it.
All right.
Oh, you want me to shoot? All right. Doc told me to ask you the tough questions. How was your transition from what band to backyard?
Oh, that was interesting.
You got to be ready with me. You a tourist,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was what happened. What happened when I went to backyard was, first of all, I was with what band, and um, they were sending people out backyard. Was saying, hey, we want you to come over here. But at the time they asked me, I wasn't ready to go over there because I'm like, I'm good. We gigging. I'm with what band? I think, everything is cool. I don't just hop and leave like that.
You're a tourist.
Yeah. So,
We have to plan.
Eventually there was a point in time when it was actually what band switched over to Northeast Groovers. Mm-hmm. We did that show at Ibiza. That was cool. Yep. We had a nice little run. I had fun.
The dope house. That's what we used to call it. The dope house. That was
like a highlight of my career, running sound for Northeast Groovers, because I was a young dude that used to sneak out the house, steal my dad's car to go to the ice box and all that.
Yes. So, I didn't steal no cars that way.
So me being behind the board, mixing it was something totally different. But then, I remember that summer, the Northeast situation folded. And when it folded, it was like trying to get what band together, but it wasn't really together. It was like trying to put it together. And, I was like, I need to keep making this money. So I went to Rio's studio one day, and Rio said, Deuce 9, you better go get off that shit and get with Backyard. You're going to be consistent. It's going to be, everything's cool. You're going to make a difference over there. So I decided to call Nate one day and say, Nate, what's up? Y'all still trying to make that move? And Nate said, all right, I'm going to call you back. So I'm like, damn, I might have waited too late. They might be, cool or whatever. But then I get a call on a Thursday. The Thursday was like, Deuce 9, come up here, bring your rack.
Capital?
Yeah, Capital.
Look, I knew. Look, I'm like, Capital.
Bring your rack. So I came in there, and I did they sound. And after the first half, G came up there and was like, yeah, that's all we need, dog. We going all the way. And I was like, oh, okay, this was my interview. I guess I passed the joint. So,
what a hell of an interview, though.
Yeah, so then it was like, dealing with that, it was like, okay, so I'm with Backyard now. And at that time, Rapper didn't really have he was like going from like trying to get what band together and then starting Project
71.
There was no what band.
Yep.
Because
there was no what band.
So it was like a period of time where there was no band for like several weeks. And I'm like, I got to do something, So that's really how I got there. It was just the fact that there was nothing going on at the time. And that was the opportunity that I should have took. So I took it, and I'm still there right now. Everything's good.
They've been seeking after you for a while. It was just the right time at the right place.
It's called timing. It's all in God's time.
I remember Gang asking me, about, what do you think about you?
Yeah.
I was like, he's developed, he's ready, you know what I'm saying? He listens, he's studying the game, and I think he'd be a good fit for you, you know what I'm saying? And then Sweaty came to me one day and asked me, what do you think about Deuce 9? I was like, he'll work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess that's when they started reaching out. Yeah. Because they were kind of like this asking, when I was doing sound.
They were doing their research, which is the proper way to go about it. When you have to court, when you're bringing somebody to be a part of your team or your band, you have to court them.
So I think part of it was also when I used to come in there and mix bands before them. And G, he likes to come early and see what's going on. And I remember they used to play Aquas on Monday nights. So I used to do sound for, they were called Original Faces, 7 band at that time. It was called Original, it was called Original Faces. So actually I got a couple really nice icy CDs that's out from them that's on like one of them little streaming sites or whatever. But yeah. So I did they sound, and G used to be like, man, how come we don't sound like that when he play, right? Nothing against me, but
sorry,
that's
y'all.
what he said.
I tried
That's
to turn
what
it
he said,
around. It's
right?
JB.
So I already knew what that
Hold
was.
up. Let me interrupt you real quick. JB, why you don't sit at the table?
Because the camera's not.
Well, you can fix that, right?
No, that's why he had him sit over there.
Yeah, I mean, either way, yeah, he comfortable. Look at him.
He's saying hi to the people.
So then another time was when we did No Ffts Groove was played at Hampton Inn. We opened up a backyard, and I remember G came up to me. He's like, "Man, Deuce, why you gotta crank the sound up on us like that, man? That's not fucking fair." You know what I'm saying? Because No Ffts, I was good at mixing No Ffts. I listened to them, and I knew everything that they did because I was a fan. No Ffts Groove and Backyard were my favorite bands as a youngin'. Actually, I'm really a Backyard. I used to argue with my friends. Like, it was 3 friends. It was 2 of them. One was a Junkyard fan, one was a No Ffts Groovers fan, and I was the Backyard. So we used to, after school, we used to
Go at it.
We used to go and have PA tape battles.
Oh,
And we
track
would
for track?
So I would put a Backyard joint
Versus.
in there, and I'd be like, you hear this shit? Then my man was playing No Ffts. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Then my man would play Junkyard, but I ain't gonna fake my man with Junkyard. He was
the GOAT.
Fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Because he get too much energy. And he used to get hyped. He's like, God damn it, man, fuck Backyard. Get the tapes out of here, man. Junkyard for life, man. Get the fuck out of my house.
So that's he put you out?
Nah, he was just talking shit. But that's how we used to go. So I was like, I was always the BYB dude. I used to say, let's go to the Black Hole. Now we all going to the Icebox. Man, I'm talking to the Black Hole. But we going to the Icebox. All right, cool. I go to the Icebox because they got the girls. They go be freaking. Some will go. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid. That's what I used to do.
They be freaking, so I'ma go.
Back then, we used to go to freak females. That's what we used to do.
That's when freaking was still in.
Yeah.
That's when you went in with. That's when you went in with a cute bob and you came out with an afro. Yeah. Like
now they freaking each other.
Yep. And then I go to Black Hole. Black Hole, you see the girls.
We do not have anything against anybody who freaks. We don't. Please don't take it personal.
And they was straight uptown partying there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I didn't have, it was back then I didn't really care which band I went to go see, but my first preference was usually Backyard all the time because it was just, Backyard just had a gutter sound that I liked. So that's how I went. So when I got there, it was like, oh, I'm actually doing sound for Backyard. This is all right. Then I look back and said, I done came from here all the way up to here.
No,
that's all right.
All right.
You know?
It's kind of like a surreal type of situation when the bands that you grew up listening to your whole life, now you're controlling how they sound. You know what I'm saying?
You are indeed you're like you are their 6th man off the bench.
Man.
You are a part of the band.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you bring a distinct sound. And you can tell I don't know if bands know it, but we can tell the difference in the sound, man, with bands. I'm just that much of a fan.
Every band has a
distinct sound.
to it. Every band wants to sound a certain way. Now, to me, with the issue, not an issue, but you jump from engineer to engineer, your sound is not stable. It's consistent.
No, it's not.
So when you say I'm gonna take Deuce this night, I'm gonna call JB, I'm gonna call Low, I'm gonna call this. We all kind of similar with the clarity wise and stuff like that, but we all have our own little tricks and tricks that makes us totally different. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have a consistent sound. So that's where I believe that consistency with the engineer and longevity engineer, it all develops as one. You gel as one. You start knowing the keywords with the lead talker saying. You about to know what Nate's on his bass where he's about to.
You know his riffs. You know his riffs. You know when his drop in is coming.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you start messing with the band a little more. So I think consistency is a big deal with that. And I watched Deuce, since he came in the game.
JB was around when I was not even I didn't know nothing about sound. I used to play for Fatal Attraction. Congo played. Yep. He actually mixed one of our tracks, and I was like, yeah, you got my timbales sounding good,
crispy.
So he saw me from that transition from playing the percussions, and then learning.
We are.
Yeah, learning that joint.
1,000 questions.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the music.
Yeah, you and Kendall. Shout out to Kendall because actually Kendall was the dude I used to go to shows with it and watch, and I'll be like, what does this do? Oh, that's the gate for the bass drum. Oh, so when the light go like this, that means it's opening and closing. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I figured that. And you can control how fast.
So it was sort of kind of like not necessarily a mentorship, but it was someone that actually gave you an opportunity to see firsthand exactly what's going on.
We played in the same band, so whenever he did a gig, I was with him all the time. So I just go and I just watch. And then it was like I was get on the monitors. He was like, go handle the monitors right quick while I do this. So I learned the monitor mix, and I learned how to say, oh, so how you do this? Oh yeah, you got to use the auxiliaries. Each one is going to each different speaker. You got to send it. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. So learning the monitors, you learn the basic stuff. But then one day, Kendall said, we used to play at Land of N, right? And it was Fatal Attraction. It was Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction. It was Elevation. They were called 1738 at that
Yes,
time.
they were.
And it was Black Passion Band. So there was, and we used to alternate. I don't know how they did it, but they used to alternate us with
Opening,
1738
closing.
used to be the headliner. But with Black Passion and the Fatal Attraction, they used to alternate. So it was one night that we played first, and Kendall was like, "Hey, dog, I'm about to step. I'm gonna let you go ahead and hold them down because I think you know what you. I think you'll be.
I
right.
think you know.
Yeah. So Kendall went off. Whatever he wanted to do, that's his business, right? But
He put you in the hot seat.
Yeah. So I
But
so
you
I
were
get on
tourist.
that joint, and I got sabotaged because I was like, "How come the bass drum ain't coming on, right?" And it was curses, and Curtis was like, "Man, all you gotta do is open up the gate." Oh, okay. Once the bass drum came on, it was over right there. I said, all right, cool. I got the effects over here. And back then, I was so hyped to do the effects.
Just throwing them everywhere.
Yeah. So, yo, I got this. I still got the CD at home. It's a 31007. That's my very first
Solo mix.
That's my very first mix. But I used Kendall's equipment. And then, what happened?
Sunday, that too. Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah.
Funny, the same way Kendall did that to you, I did the exact same thing to Kendall. I said,
But
Kendall, I'm about to do this other show. Here, finish this band up for me.
And then, was it still?
It wasn't Steel. It was CCB.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had to do CCB. For
Once you give somebody opportunity and they good, they ain't gonna call you no more.
I have a system. I got another band. I got a mix.
appreciate it.
So when Kendall pulled that move, right, Doc was like, "Oh, you could mix. All right, well, we're gonna start working with you from now on." So that was Kendall didn't mix Black Passion no more after that. So I started mixing Black Passion. Black Passion was the first band that I started mixing. And the second time I went to go mixing was at the Thai Seafood House. Now, mind you, I didn't have a rack.
Thai seafood.
I didn't have no rack. So I came in there with a Harman Kardon CD recorder. The joint ain't meant for like 6 shows. So if it's a lot of bass, it keeps stopping. So I had to take my coat off and put the joint on there so it wouldn't.
Some cushion.
Some cushion. So I made a little CD and I didn't have no rack, no effects, no nothing. And the joint came out clean. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to get this. So I went and took like a little part-time job just to build some money to buy a rack. As soon as I got my rack, I quit that joint.
Oh.
And I started working. And that's how I started. That's all how I started, you know.
Rack too.
Now, my first rack, all I had was the pitch for the congos and the delay for the echo. And then I started adding stuff to it. Because I was looking at what Kendall was doing. Kendall had like the stuff that Rio used to put in his, all the stuff to make the bass drum, all that stuff. So I said, I need all that. So I went and bought all that stuff. And I think I pioneered the sound for the bounce beat. Because when I got with Reaction, because over a period of time I was just mixing bands, but then Kendall used to mix all the bounce beat bands. He had all of them. T.O.B., Reaction, he was like a monopoly. They was messing with Kendall. Kendall was that, he was that dude. But then he got into it with, I don't know what happened. He got into it with Rick or something. And you know how Kendall is. He's
hot-headed.
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't messing with y'all no more. So, because what's it called? Rick and T.O.B. got into it at the Thai Seafood House, and he rolled with T.O.B. because he was closer with them. So that was the end of Kendall mixing Reaction. So that's how I got with Reaction. And I think that when I got with them, I kind of like, that's when my name became the man behind the crank. because Rick gave me that name. Because it was like I made the 8307 CD, and off my first try mixing them, that joint was a classic CD. So they was like, man, what the hell? Where we go? Man, you the man behind the crank. So every time Rick would do a show, he'd be like, Deuce 9, the man behind the crank. And I had to catch the echo. Crank, 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 crank. And it's on a lot of CDs. So that's where I got that name from. The man behind the crank, you know? Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
I mean, it's just got, the reason why I'm where I'm at because I like what I do. And I'm real passionate about it. And I take my work ethic seriously. So when I was playing congos, I was a weed head. I used to smoke all the time because smoking.
Happy 420 to everybody that celebrated Monday.
Yeah, smoking give me that creativity, right? You get on the congos, you come up with 10 beats, young. Every time I was on the stage was fatal, I was smoking. But when I start doing sound, that smoking don't max.
You can't. Mix. You gotta be functional.
I start acting slow. And then it will be something I don't catch because I'm high. I'm not paying attention to it.
So what people don't know is when you hear a sound person, this is what I call sound people, this is what I call engineers that get drunk when they're doing shows. You are a sound person to me. You're no longer an engineer because you are under the influence and it's not a good look. The sound quality is different. Whether they want to believe it or not, it's different. For not all, but some, you can tell the difference in the sound quality if they're under the influence or not.
Yeah, I think drinking for me, what it do is it attenuate my ears. So when I start drinking, it don't sound loud enough. So you start pushing everything up. I remember one time I was mixing Reaction, I was drunk. We was at G's nightclub, Blue Motorcycles. By the way.
You said G's?
G's nightclub.
First of all, one Blue Motorcycle from G's will have you catching 4 DUIs.
Man, what? Who you
before you get home. Seriously. You gonna get that Bladensburg police rack. You gonna catch that DC rack if you getting on 295. Mm-hmm. And if you getting back off by Pennsylvania Avenue, you definitely catching that rack right there at the precinct. Like that's 3 already.
Young.
And you better not be going to Marlboro Pike. It's a wrap. You going to jail.
Them Blue Motorcycles and G's was no joke.
Yes.
I used to be lit. But you know what's so funny? That Gucci bandana single that was always getting played on the radio.
Bandana. Gucci,
I mixed that
Gucci
song
bandana.
off a Blue Motorcycle at G's nightclub, and it came out really good. So sometimes you get lucky. But I think what it is that you want to start off sober. If you drink like during the second half, everything's already set, so you don't have to worry about your ears being jacked up before you start. So the trick is to get on there sober and make sure everything's on
your
point.
Levels and everything
are
on point.
Make sure everything's on point. So that's what I do. I don't really turn up before shows. And like I got friends, they be like, "Yeah, man, we gonna party." They want me to turn up. You know what I'm saying? Oh yes, it's over there. They want me, so I'll be like, I'll be in the car, like, y'all smoke, y'all do what y'all do, but I got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be doing that. You know, so that's kind of like why I ended up falling back from some of my habits from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because this job, you got to take it seriously. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be playing around.
You use the right word, the J word, because it is a job. It's just not something you're doing for fun. So for both of y'all, question. This is one of my favorite debates to hear engineers speak about. Analog or digital?
I'm going to let you go ahead, JB. Because I've been talking, so y'all got to give me some burn. Yeah.
Analog gives you a little warmer.
Oh, sorry, guys. Can y'all see him?
More that crisp, you get everything high end, everything is defined, separation. You can get it off the analog as well. You just got a little bit of trade, turn things down, turn things up, right? But I always had an analog board, but I didn't bring it out for a while because it wasn't user friendly at the time, and a lot of people didn't know how to use it. So I had
Which one?
I had the not M32, the X32.
But you talking about the digital board?
Digital board.
Yeah.
But I had the digital board sitting for a while, but because I couldn't bring it out, and when I did bring it out one time, it was just like, I don't know what to do with it. All right, let me take it out, put it back on the truck, let me bring the other board back. So when people started getting more acumen with the board, then I started bringing it out more. Because it took me a while to bring it out. I had to sit in my basement, and I had another one sitting in my garage for the longest time.
So when you opening your studio back up?
Don't worry about it. We working on that.
I'm getting a lot of requests that people asking me.
That don't answer my question.
Because Real is booked up.
That don't answer my question.
Yeah, forever. Listen, Rio has a calendar, guys, like the big desk calendar.
You can see it
up on his wall.
Yeah.
And let me explain something to you. Nobody is giving up their practice session at his studio. Not this week, not next week, not when they first said you couldn't go anywhere. Nobody. It is hard to get in. It's very hard. So, oh, well,
Yeah, so-
that's how you're going to be again.
Yeah, so when?
So
I just need to know where.
No.
I don't know.
Estimated?
I don't know. Maybe.
Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
I think, so as far as go-go, I think go-go sounds better on analog.
I agree.
My home studio is a hybrid. Basically, I got Pro Tools and I have digital, everything running digital inside the computer, but I run it back to an analog board. So when I mix, I'm getting that analog sound last. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm getting everything.
So you're layering it.
Yeah. So basically, I use the digital part to edit and use certain plugins to shape the sound I'm looking for. Then it's coming out of the computer into the board where I can warm it up and give it that analog sound. Because with digital boards, this digital boards is different. The way digital boards are, you have like the levels, they clip at 0 dB. So 0 dB, if you go above that, then if you turn the gain too high on a digital board, it sounds ugly. It's like a clippy sound. But on an analog board, you could run the joint into the red, and it actually makes it sound better. Like all of us, when we was mixing on the analog board, we used to always have the bass drum up in that red area, because what it do, it fatten the bass drum up and give you that coloration. It don't really distort it. It just make it sound fat and full. So I watch a lot of people, and they always tell you, oh, you got too much stuff in the red. You gotta turn it down. I was like, hold up. How does this sound coming out the speakers? Because I know like Grammy-winning engineers that have an old SSL board in their studio because they like how it sounds when they push it.
What it produces.
Yeah, but they like how it sounds when they push it into the red, because it does this colorization. It just makes it sound better.
It meshes well.
So if you listen to the PA tapes from like the 90s, they sound different. They were like, I don't know, I can't explain it, dog.
Bass drums were fatter.
Everything was just like in your face. Yeah, you know?
There are people asking who the other person is.
Yeah, everything's clean. It's a little bit clean. So with digital boards, one thing I do like about it, they're convenient because you could save your settings. Once you turn a knob on an analog board, you turned it, it's changed. So you got to switch it back around.
You got to figure it out.
But on a digital board, you can save your settings. So every time I come to a show, I just load up my scene, and whatever I did last week is still there. On a digital board, you also have built-in sound effects. So you don't have to always bring your rack unless you want to use what you're doing. On the analog board, you got to bring a lot of stuff, you know, because it doesn't have all that stuff in there. You got to bring all that. So the digital board got pretty much compressors and gates on every channel, so you don't have to worry about bringing all that.
It's convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient, but the go-go is moved over to digital now. So you have to figure out how to make go-go sound analog on a digital board. Now, I think I mastered X32, which is the board that, you know, we all been using. I actually, JB's helped me because I was mixing on that board a lot when he had his system like Capital. And when he brought it out, it was like I was switching over from analog to digital with Backyard. And I learned it through him. So I figured how to get the sound I'm looking for. I figured it out. And there's certain things you just got to do. But it's not easy because every digital board is different. So you have to learn them, especially the big ones. A lot of people like be looking at the joints and be like, what? Dog, what the hell is this? This joint look like an airline car, you know what I'm saying?
Like you about to fly a plane.
Yeah, you know? And it's like everything's the same, but it's like, you know when you get in the car and you got an infotainment center? Like every car got different ways of doing, they do the same thing, but it's like every menu, that's how the digital boards are. So you got to figure out how to move around and navigate through things. Once you figure that out, then you can get a good sound, but some people can't really get it.
Some get intimidated because
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, it's overwhelming
Like
if
when
you
you get
look,
in a
but if you
luxury
don't
car.
study.
That's all it is.
And you're like,
So I used to do what I do. The trick is YouTube is your friend.
Listen,
On
YouTube for everything.
Go to
YouTube for
YouTube
everything.
And if you want to learn, like, okay, Digital SD12, which is the PA board they got at the Anthem. It's a really nice board. You know, they got tutorials. Study them joints, look at them joints, and then when you get there, most of the time the people that the house guys there, they'll walk you through and help you figure things out. But my first time mixing on a digital board, you know what I was on? Remember them old Yamaha PM5Ds, the one that they have at the Howard Theater? At Victory Church, they had a gospel gospel band out there. They had a couple gospel gospel bands out there. My first time mixing was on that. That's like a...
The church had it, somebody brought that in?
Nah, it was at the church.
Wow.
It was Victory. It's a big church.
Okay.
So Yamaha PM5D, that's like back when they came out, that's like the top board out.
That's like the mothership
So,
of one first type of...
It's old now, so it's like driving an old Bentley or old Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying?
It's a classic.
Yeah, but for somebody like me to get on there for the first time, they didn't give me no beginner board. They gave me the pro joint.
Did you lose your mind?
Nah, because I spent 3 days looking at tutorials.
Yeah.
And then when I got on there, it was cool. Actually, if you go on YouTube, you can find the recordings on there. It sounded good. My first time, it sounded good. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, all right, I got this digital thing down packed now. So that's really how I learned. Once I got on the PM5D my first time, it made me feel like I'm not scared of no digital board. So every time I come up to one, I'm like, if I don't know this, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know? I never get intimidated.
It's like a tank. You know what I'm saying? So, but you did some good things out of there. Heard you at Howard Theater. A couple times at Howard Theater with it.
That was my spot, man. I used to come in that joint and just start from scratch and just build a mix because I knew how to run that joint really good, you know. Yep. Howard Theater and Echo Stage, those are my favorite, like my 2 spots I like mixing
Howard Theater what?
Echo Stage. 930 Club is cool too.
I love the 930.
Yeah, they got to do some things with those amps they got in there.
They do.
Yeah, those amps are too small for the system they got in there, but they got really good speakers and everything else. But Echo Stage and when the Howard Theater had the PM5D, they switched over to CL5. I like the CL5, but for some reason that PM5D, I knew how to navigate through that zone so easily. It was like boom. I didn't even need a sound check. I just get them going, you know. So that's what I used to like about that spot.
One thing I didn't like about Howard Theater sometimes, if you didn't know, they wouldn't tell you where the bus was to turn the bottom basement on the subs on sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Them Jones was always on like, I can't remember, on 24.
Yeah, but that boys, they're like, oh, where's your sub? He's like, oh yeah, I moved it. Well, after they moved it on the bus up here one time.
Because that boy used to have to go in the shop a couple times, man. That's why they got rid of it. You know, it's old, man. It's like driving an old Bentley.
Yeah, but
you know
once
what I'm
you
saying?
get it,
Yeah. All the new boys got touch screens now and stuff. That joint had no touch screen.
oh, they fancy.
You know? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, right now, I think, like I said, go-go sounds good on analog. And if it were my choice, I would mix on an analog board, given that I have the right equipment to plug up to it. Because for a long time, I didn't want to go digital with the Aqua. Ask Milton. I was the only dude still rocking the analog board at Aqua.
went to Miami. Last time I went to
I
Miami.
brought my own board.
Yeah, he's like, JB, I want to bring my own board.
I brought my.
He's a tourist. We have to be prepared for everything. Listen, we overpack.
40 channel Allen
Overpack.
That's what it's like. That's what I used in the studio.
Yeah.
Hey man, I bought that from Derek.
But
But
you put this in your truck.
yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm bringing this digital. Nah, man, I want to use. That's like cool. You blew that joint up that night though.
Man, that joint, I still got the recordings at home. That was a classic. Man, we played at one spot till like 5 in the morning.
Remember it was 6.
6, and the sun was out.
Yeah,
Man,
sun
that
was
was
out when it came out.
That CD crank.
That was Miami.
Was still rocking.
They was still rocking like I don't know what, man.
That was Miami.
Miami's canceled this year. Well, it's not canceled. It's probably gonna be postponed to.
I am okay with us taking a hiatus from anything that has large groups and gatherings until we have a full understanding of what's going on in society. I'm not pressing the issue to get back to clubs jam packed with 300 or 400 people. Yeah, I'm working 60-hour weeks.
Where you work at?
Yep. So I took on a full-time job. I have a mentor who owns Homeboy Seafood in Lago. So I'm an essential worker. I run the front end to make sure we get people in and out. We make sure we limit the people that we have in there, your time in there. Like, we get you in and out. We get you in and out.
I need you over here.
Yep.
Yeah, I need you.
Yep.
People around.
Listen, some things need structure and order.
Blessing, man. There's some people out here that's not working.
And shout out to her for giving my son his first official paycheck. And he's getting that bag too. Right. My son working 60 hours a week. I'm working 67. Like, we getting it. So we're thriving right now. I can't complain. I cannot complain. Blessings have come out of this. However, please, y'all, respect people's space. Give them their 6 feet. Be more patient when you go out. And it's the law in Maryland to have a mask on when you're going into public places,
Even
y'all.
kids.
Even kids. Especially kids.
Especially kids. How you an adult and your child don't have on a mask?
But you do.
But you do.
And
is that backwards?
And then you cuss me
like,
out when I tell you your child needs a mask.
I think that's the most... Your kids should be protected first.
But that's just like when you see adults with coats on and their kids have on a sweatshirt.
I agree.
A hot mess.
I agree.
Snotty nose, hair not done, tennis shoes beat up. But you know, ooh, I can't get into it. I cannot get into it. But this is what we're going to do. We are going to take a break and break bread together to celebrate this tourist season. And then we'll be back. My first question when we come back, I have 2. I'm going to give them to y'all now so y'all can think about them.
Oh.
Worst system you've ever mixed on?
I already know. I got one.
The hardest person or band that you have mixed for in the go-go industry?
Ooh. Good question.
Doc told me to bring the fire, so we gonna bring it right after. Right after.
So which Doc? Fat Doc?
Yes. Right after.
Doc is a troublemaker sitting on his patio smoking his cigars, drinking his drink.
I was on Zoom with him the other night, and he had me lit. We were super lit on Zoom, right?
But hold up.
I was talking to Pole and all everybody here.
Oh no, it's about to go down. We should do a Zoom happy hour tonight after this.
So I'm doing one tomorrow for my B-Day.
Let's do it. Can you send me an invite?
I got you.
I'm on.
Yeah.
But we are definitely about to get into these wings from Mr. White's Wings. I ordered the sweet and savory mumbo sauce kind. So we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, right after this break. Stay tuned. So
This is their life right here, man. What's up, Bobby? I ain't seen you like somebody, somebody, body, somebody, body. And white girl, Michelle. Somebody face, yeah. Real somebody, somebody face, yeah. Real somebody, somebody face, yeah. Back and back. It's never happened for a gangster, gangster, gangster. It's never happened for a gangster, gangster, gangster. It's never happened for a gangster, gangster. It's never happened for a gangster, hey, gangster. Never for a gangster. Never for a gangster. Hey! Never happened for a gangster. Gangster. It's never happened for a gangster. Gangster. Sounds, everybody says, Listen here. We like to thank Lulu's, Blackies. Hold up. We like to thank Lulu's, Blackies as a whole unit for holding us down in here every Monday. keep rocking out. After that, I need passengers. I'm in the trucks, only laughing out. What the fuck is you laughing at? Took her back to my habitat. Oh yeah, you know I'm knocking that. I need money, man. I need more of that. One forward. Okay, to the music. Two to that, the movement. Three sing, that's MAC. To the script. Keep my heat, you move wrong, come a nigga square. When it blaze.
All my life, you stood by me. No one else was ever behind me. All these lights couldn't blind me. Your love, nobody can drag me. All my life, you stood by me. No one else was ever behind me. All these lights couldn't blind me. Your love, nobody can drag me down. Nobody, nobody can drag me down. Nobody, nobody can drag me down. Nobody, nobody can drag me down. Nobody,
One time, it's my best ride. Body poppin', you know that the model toppin'. You know that a nigga watchin'. He hatin', I keep poppin'. Ain't no shit, I be rockin'. You know, ain't no option. Uptown, I need money. I need that in my pocket. And I'm stoppin'. Why you watchin'? That's cool, but I think you hatin'. Okay, this a demonstration. For all these niggas getting it, going that up cool with me.
I missed that
Don't
too.
need to
Yeah, a real system. I had all analog on real system, but I took the HD24. Yeah, the old way. You know how much work that was, dog? Huh? Say what? On the processor? Like, basically, what I did was mix. I didn't even use what I did in the show. I just took the actual individual channels and did all the processing in my studio. So I got the SPX 90, Lexicon, all that stuff. So I got a little analog. I got.
Y'all do, man.
I played this CD so many times. The first disc is my favorite though. This song's the first disc. Hey, if you listen to this song, G-Go say some shit like, hey Juice, you got this thing on record? Cause he knew it was a good show, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm gonna use this joint.
This smile. He ride on deck, Hondo. What do you got, Cam? My man. Let's do that. Like a nigga stand over me too
Look
big.
at that China symbol, man.
Back on Sunday night. She looking so right, girl.
It's Bravo Bravo, yeah. We used to play Bravo Bravo every Sunday.
I ain't doing no drinking though.
I used to love that spot.
Getting this shit back at chat all the time.
So they always stop drinking at the beginning of the year and get back drinking.
I'm doing like a DJ for you. Huh? Doing like a DJ for you. You don't break like this no more, T-Side.
Like Jim Jones.
You ready to smile?
Who's that? She right there?
Huh?
What year was that? Nah, I'm just saying.
First, what y'all gonna do, man? Talk to me. A little cold outside for the pussy hairs, baby. I just be here with my nature. I'm sorry. Hey, hold the time. Yeah.
I used to go see Joe Spotty go see Raw. I remember that day. Yeah. That had to be like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Watch me say right here.
Hey, dude. Hope you got this one on replay, man.
He's like, I hope you record.
We do LB all the time.
You know what I like about Buggy? That's different from PJ? Buggy is a human metronome. He keeps it the same pace. PJ go up and down sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go nowhere, honey. Good to see you, baby girl. You on sweet dust. Good to see you tonight.
Buggy know how to drive the beat without playing too fast. What's that at?
Breeze pop.
Mirrors. That was Mirrors. Yeah, it's a hotel, but before that, it used to be called Mirrors. I think it was Mirrors back then. It used to be club bands was playing there, right? Yeah. Oh. Damn, I forgot what. I know what you're talking about. I got the name of that. Oh, before you get out. Oh, if you're coming from DC. Oh, the President's Inn or something? That thing is President. Yeah, President Inn. Because the bouncy bands is playing there sometimes too. It's like, so let's say you're coming from Maryland, right? You pass the Aqua, and right when you make that corner, there's a hotel right there. That's President Inn. Yeah, that's President Inn. Yeah, they got ballroom in that joint.
Y'all ready, deuce? Y'all ready to get loose, nigga?
911. Yeah, that was 911.
Stand no honeys. Shake the money. I see you, girl.
You
You party early too, ain't you? Little T. That hold the sound.
Yeah, the Bahamas. Yeah, I was on that joint. I got a picture from on there. Let me show you this joint. I was like 10 pounds lighter. Hold on. That's me on the Bahamas. Who was it, young? Shitty ass boat.
What do you see? Hold the sound.
This me and G acting looking like we just came from Coming to America. we was leaving Florida, right? And we went into the airport. It was so fucking cold. So we bought these hoodies because it was so cold in there. He's like, we take a picture with you. Let's look like we just came from Coming to America. You my African brother.
Turn those mic on in the house a little bit more. They say that in the year I want to blow. Yeah.
And we are back. Shout out to the sponsor himself, the wizard, Mr. Monsoon at Mitch Craft. Go ahead and get yourself Mitch Crafty.
Mitch Crafty?
Yes, you got to get crafty. And make sure while you're doing that, you're keeping everything hippie. You got to get your fly on, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Them tie-dye joints be everything.
Terry, Mr. Wings himself, White. How was the wings, y'all?
It was A1.
Oh, okay. That's a little unanimous. That sounded like a good meal. We broke bread, had a good conversation, did a little praying. And I'm waiting for these answers. Let's go. Thought I forgot about it. I didn't. Worst venue that you've ever had to mix at, system-wise, just like period. And the most difficult person and or band that you've ever had to mix.
Worst venue was probably Tucker Road. Remember Tucker Road joint? Tucker Road was, I remember I had to mix back out in there, and it was so hilarious. Bug was in here like, damn, I only got 2 mics for the drums. And the mic that was inside the bass drum was a vocal mic.
What?
It was like one of them regular vocal mics in the bass drum. I said, oh, this ain't gonna work.
That sounds like a.
I don't know whose system was in there. It was trash. It was notoriously trash.
It had to be.
It was bad. I got a video when I mixed in that joint. I actually had to doctor that joint and make it sound like something because I put my own mics and stuff in there. But Bug was sitting there like, dawg, we in this joint like somebody's basement.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? This bass drum was messed up. All the equipment was bad. But I said, let's just make something out of it. And it ended up becoming a really good show when we played in that joint. The monitors was horrible. G kept saying, I can't hear nothing. Turn me up, turn me up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, I got you all the way up. I don't know what's going on. You in the red, dog. You know what I'm saying? So that was probably the worst venue for me. And I had to mix backyard in that joint. And yeah, I had to work. I earned my money that night. It was hard. I had to literally change all the mics on everything. They only had two mics.
You made your coins that night, huh?
Yeah, I had to. They only had 2 mics on the congos. I went and got 2 splitters for my little case. Put 4 mics on there so I could get the congos to sound how I want them to sound. Yeah, it was. I think it was an install. It was something in it, like it stayed in there, but it was just anything. You know, that joint burnt down. So, you know, but that was probably from what I remember, that was the worst. You know, what was your worst joint?
Yeah, what was your worst joint?
I was in North Carolina, and the place is probably about the size of a typical house basement. Did JY that bad boy, and the owner's like, I want you to empty the whole truck out. I said, we don't empty the whole truck out. Where the people gonna stand at? So, and then on top of that, only had 3 plugs to plug in the whole sound system.
That sounds like Charlotte, like the steakhouse.
Cut off every time you turn it up.
Ooh, that sounds like the steakhouse.
So what I ended up doing was
That was
I didn't
ridiculous.
put the facade on it since it was so the
Horrible.
place was so compact, but it had a low ceiling, almost like this. So I put everything out in the truck.
Like a basement.
Yeah, I put everything out in the truck. I only hooked up 2 speakers on each side, though. You know what I'm saying? So I have 4 on each side, hooked on 2 on each side, so you couldn't know the difference anyway. You know what I mean? But that was one of the worst. And then on top of that, it was raining like crazy outside, and the roof wasn't leaking. It was pouring
Onto your equipment?
on my amp rack, just pouring. And I didn't know it because it was sitting behind the speakers, and that bad boy was just coming.
Wow.
Didn't have no idea. And then the bug was like, what Bug said? Oh, he stopped. He said, hey, JB. I said, what's up? He said, hey, it's thunderstorming over here in this corner.
Not it's thunderstorming over here in this corner,
I
though.
was like, what you talking about? He said, come on stage. So I came and looked at it, man. It was just like pouring down, raining. And so that was probably the one first venue I was into. And it was cold. It had no heat on there. The bathroom didn't have any running water. It's like somebody.
Did the bar have liquor?
Yeah, they had. No, it wasn't a bar. It was the guy on the side of the door that had like a pickup truck.
I don't want to talk to you anymore about this event.
Truck, and he opened the side of the door. But it was in the middle of nowhere almost. Opened the door on the side, had a pickup truck with the bed down. That was their bar.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
shit. The other venue we went to, they didn't even have a kitchen. They was somebody had
Food outside under a tent in the parking lot.
Yes, I've seen them too.
I remember, what's that, X4B? They was just frying wings right there.
Yeah, right there.
Uh-huh.
Right
On
there.
that- on the hot-
Yeah, right there by Fieldboard.
Disrespectful.
Over there smelling like
Yeah.
Crisco oil the
Yes.
whole time.
Burnt Crisco oil.
That was probably one of the worst. And another worst I had was Boys and Girls Club, 14th Street, right across the street from Clifton Terrace. And I was doing a whole bunch of bounce beat bands that day. It was like a all Sunday event, Saturday event.
Yeah, them
Had like
shows a
40, 50
headache.
bands of that day.
Yeah, it's a headache show.
So, needless to say, all my chords were stepped on, were broken from the monitor edges. So this got to the point where they didn't play no congos at all. They did slow songs, open slow songs with timbales. So I was like, after like the 5th band, it's probably like 20 bands come through. After the 5th band, I took the congos off and I took the monitors off the floor. Because everything was, all the cables were broken.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
That's horrible.
And so I ended up doing that, and I mean it went through, but it was a tough night. You know what I'm saying? It was, yeah. I think I only had like 4 plugs to plug everything in there, and that's a pretty nice sized gym.
That's horrible.
But I didn't have the JBL, then I had the half quad system.
Oh yeah.
So that was the amp side I had right there. Kind of worked it, but it was a stereo show too because it was just breaking everything left and right, just stepping on shit, didn't care about nothing. You know?
Yeah.
It didn't belong to them.
Huh?
It didn't belong to them.
Care.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So since you made him answer that question first, now you answer the second question.
The toughest person or band you've ever had to mix. Like, it was just...
Like, you just wanted to be like, fuck it, I'm out. Like,
you wanted to show your Gemini twin in real life.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm always upfront.
Oh, God. I shouldn't have asked this question.
It was, I can tell you exactly where it was at.
No,
it was
Jesus.
Fucking,
Oh.
What's the university in Baltimore?
too late, you done
Morgan
answered.
State.
Morgan State.
Morgan State.
You
That's
answered
my
it
old school.
In Morgan State, and we did this little spot out there with TCB. And I cussed out Ben.
Oh.
I cussed out Reggie.
Oh. That's why I said, oh.
And I think I cussed out Bo too. You know, like cussed the whole
You was
band
just
out.
on a roll.
Yeah, but they didn't understand because the place was packed. They had 1,000 people in there, but then you had another 200 people on the stage. You know what I mean? Now you can't hear your monitors.
Why are there 200 people on the stage?
Everybody's
Groupies.
Groupies on the stage.
But why would you allow...
You know what I
Never
mean?
mind.
So
I know it smelled like a
how
whole
Reggie
bunch
was,
of hot...
Reggie's like, Reggie's funny. That's my man. I love him to death. And he's always like, JB, fuck everybody else. I just need to hear myself. That's how he carried it. This is my bag. I pay these motherfuckers. So everybody's complaining. They come to me. I can't hear shit. I'm like, you know, get
Talk
the motherfuckers
down.
off your stage. Plus, y'all too loud anyway. You know what I'm saying, on stage. So after we got back and forth and all that stuff, and I was like, you know, and then me and Reggie always been cool. You know what I'm saying? I had drinks, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that night, I was like, nigga, I'm gonna fuck you up tonight. You say one more fucking thing out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I'm gonna shut my mouth because I know how you go. Leave it alone. This ass is. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the worst bands. Another one, that hard work band that worked me to death, was when I was doing Chuck.
Respect.
You better not have not one chord laying across the stage, running from.
He likes that national artist treatment.
Yes. And I learned a lot, majority of my stuff from working with Chuck, as in professionalism, how to really set things up, how to run your chords ready, how just have everything in general. You know
This
what I mean?
stage clean.
And he really kind of had a go-go set up a little bit, but it was more of a R&B, solo act. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on a separate mix. He got his own. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nobody else in the front line. I just want to hear myself. You know, kind of so like that. And I'm on 2 monitors on each side. And I mean, he was tough because he didn't want any feedback. I don't care if you put your hand on top of it. Everything had to be crystal clean. Everything had to be at a certain dB level on stage. You know what I mean? And he had his manager. Oh my God, I forgot his manager's name. White dude. Anyway, he had a dB monitor, and he would actually sit on the side of the stage and walk on the other side and walk and make
And
sure
check
it's at
it.
that level.
And make sure it's even.
So that was tough, but it was tough, but it was a learning experience. You know what I mean? And the first couple times, it's kind of rocky. Third time, aced it. Had no problems. You know what I mean? But he was another tough customer, but it was learning. Trouble Funk.
Oh man, you stole mine.
Oh, that was your answer too?
That's part of mine. That's part of my answer.
Uh-oh.
Big
Tony.
Big Tony.
Get well soon, Big Tony.
I worked with Big Tony in the studio, and he had me mix.
He got mad.
I actually mixed one of his tracks. It was the track he did with Killer Cow. Yeah, and I forgot the name of that joint. But it got a sample where it be like pump, 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 pump me up at the beginning of the joint. I mixed that joint. I'm like, man, I got this joint locked in. Everything good. I gave it to him, and he said, "You mix good, but I need you to change." He actually wanted me to change the way the congos was tuned somehow. I'm like, dude, whoever played the congos, that's how they got it. So like he didn't. He wanted a Big Tony. I love him.
How do you do? What are you supposed to do?
Nah, he didn't
But what are you supposed to do? Are you a magician, a miracle
Well,
worker?
it's nothing you could do
you-
once it's told. Yeah.
Yes.
Once you.
Did
Once
you?
you
Dream a genie.
yeah, but
The
it was.
fuck?
He wanted a sound. He had a
That's
sound
absurd.
stuck in his head. And he wants that sound.
is-
Translated.
been engraved in his head
It
for
gotta be
30-some
there.
years, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and if it's not that sound, he don't care how good it sounds.
He don't want
gotta
it.
be that sound. So I was, I didn't really know because I didn't know what kind of sound he wanted. I just did what I usually do, and I mixed that track down like 5 times, and I got to a point where I don't even think I even did what he wanted. Then he tried to go to somebody else to try to get it done, and it ended up being worse than what, what I did. So I think eventually they ended up using that track to put it out. But he was, and Real warned me because actually he asked Real to do it, and Real was like, "Oh nah,
I'm not dealing with
I'm
that.
not dealing with that. I got somebody named."
Shout
D
out to
Snide.
Rio, one of
D
the
Snide
one
gonna
of the
get that.
realest.
I went to
Him
Rio.
and Rio and Mr. Charlie.
Yeah.
Put me on.
I went to Rio, and Rio was like, I said, "Rio, man, why you set me up like that, dog?" He was like, "Yeah, I ain't working with that nah, bro. That's too much work. I think you
I love him,
you got that dude,
especially if
work
he been
hard. You
drinking.
get- You know.
Hennessy and orange juice.
Love him.
So, as far as like
Hennessy and orange
as far as like
Yes.
a band, I would have to say the band that helped me that gave me the platform to build my brand was one of the difficult bands to deal with, and that was Reaction. And the reason why is because I don't know if any of y'all have ever dealt with Rick. Rick is he's a black Jew. He's literally trying to get over every time. He's the type of person that says,
Rick.
"That's my man, but this is him." And everybody, if I say this and anybody's listening and watching and they know it, they go like, "That nigga ain't lying." You know what I'm saying? They all gonna say the same thing. He the type, this is what he should do. He would be like, the whole band gotta be at the La Pearl at 10:45, right? Mind you, by 10:45, the first band probably just clicking the sticks. But he wanted the band there early. And if you're late, you get docked. So if I pull up at 10:46,
That's that white boy shit from Red
10:47,
Essence.
Miss Tamika out there looking and seeing who came here 2 minutes late. He won't say nothing. You get your pay,
It's
money
short.
moving, money out of there. I'm like, what you talk about? Oh yeah, you was late. I was like, how the hell man? I was here. Man, we seen you pull up. It was 10:49, right? I'm like, damn, 10:49, 4 minutes difference. The band's just started. Rules is rules. But he was that petty, and he always was trying to figure out a way to cut costs, which is kind of like what corporate America does anyway. But at the end of the day, it taught me some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Don't give nobody no angle to get over on you. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot about the business dealing with him because he was the first band major band I was dealing with. But he gave me a headache because he was so petty every time. There's times where I just wanted I quit the band one time. I quit the band because he was being petty. We was actually about to fight outside Beachy's studio. And Fat Joe was mixing the band for like a month. Eventually I came back because they wanted that he went back to No Impressions, but they wanted that sound. And we worked it out. But when I left Reaction and I went to What Band, and I was like, I'm mixing at the Trade Winds. The Trade Winds ain't even that packed, but I'm getting all this money. I said, damn, Rick, what's going on?
You been holding out.
The La Pearl was doing like 650 people.
I know.
On a Friday night.
I know.
And what I was getting paid didn't equal what I should
Were you getting $1 a person?
No. Hell no. Not even close.
50 cents a person?
2 cents, 3.
50 cents a
I don't
person?
know, man. I was
10
getting-
cents a person?
I was getting like $100, young. That's it. And I made a lot of CDs and like all that stuff. I was only getting $100. And then if like Kales did some Bama stuff and leaked out a CD, then I was getting punished for it because I was like, oh, you gave Kales a CD and it came from you, so I'm gonna have to dock you for the whole week. Like that's kind of stuff he was doing. So
You got me. I'm like, all right, I'll be there at 10:45.
so imagine I leave and I go to What
Never
Band.
show up.
You imagine I
That's
leave and go
'cause
to
you're a
What Band
Gemini.
and they don't play them type of games. You do your job, you get paid.
Yes.
And it was like a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, it's not all in vain. It was like I learned how to deal with people like him, messing with him. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he is, and he's till this day he's still like that. You know? If I do a project, I'll be like, Ray, I don't want to deal with you, dog.
I don't want no
You gonna
shit.
give me a headache.
Leopards don't change their spots.
They just change the way.
You change for a second to get you where you want.
No,
and then you come back.
no. You just change the way you camouflage them. You don't change them. You just get smarter at hiding them.
Oh, so he's a chameleon.
That's my man. He was real. When it came to business, me and him, we don't mix well when it comes to business. That's just how it is. But I still look out for him when he needs something, you know. Because that's part of my legacy, man. I was with Reaction from 2007 to 2011, and that's, you know, I'm always going to be a part of that. But dealing with him was definitely a headache. I don't think I've dealt with anybody more difficult than him. I think as I progressed with my career, it hasn't been as bad as that at all. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of the older people, yeah, you know. Yeah, it's some things I would say they might not appreciate some of the things you do behind the scenes. Like, if something go wrong, they quick to blame the sound man. Yeah. That happens a
That's
lot.
my favorite.
It's the sound man's fault.
How do y'all feel about that? We don't have any CDs because the sound man didn't mix us right.
Don't ask me that.
I'm going to ask you.
I mean, as a band member, yeah, I'm brutally honest with bands. I mean, and I'm brutally honest to the fact of trying to progress you to be better or take constructive criticism and take it to the next level and say, hey, we need to work on this. So if you come to me and say, hey, how do we do tonight? One, transitions were off badly.
Close your hi-hat.
You know what I mean? Two,
That's Googie's favorite.
yeah.
Well, close your hi-hat?
Googie don't like the hi-hat.
Neither do. I am a firm believer in the close the hi-hat ministry. Shut it. If you got somebody singing, shut it down. Like, I need to hear those vocals. Like, they're singing so you can showcase their vocals.
So I'm going to say something about the hi-hat thing, right? It depends on the drummer. One thing I love about Buggy, when Buggy's hi-hat is open, it's not drowning the stage. Because it's all in his wrist.
The motion.
He's not going like this.
It's the
He's
slight.
doing this. So what the hi-hat
But
is doing,
that's part of his cadence, though.
Yeah,
he has
it's
a
all
whole
about
cadence. That's just
it's all
amazing.
about the touch and the feel. And what it is that he got the hi-hat sizzling, but it's not like drowning the stage. A lot of younger drummers, they think they got to play hard. So, when they play the hi-hat, first of all, Buggy has his hi-hat open like this. So it got that sizzle.
Perfect.
Some of these other dudes, they got the joint like this. So all you hear is
That's
and
all.
that joint and the hi-hat, if you got a small stage, that's the worst enemy for an engineer. Because that hi-hat is bleeding on everything.
What was that, Babylon Woodbridge that we went to?
If you
Which
put
one
the
was it?
congos in the
Falls
water,
Church.
you're going to hear the hi-hat in the water,
That was
too.
ridiculous.
That's almost going
That was
I'm like,
ridiculous.
dang, man. Don't play it so loud. You don't got to. I done told a lot of drummers that. Like, you don't got to play the hi-hat so loud. Especially when, like, if you play the spot like Society Lounge where everybody's tight. You just got to play with feel. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
you
going
don't like
to
it
amplify.
when that hi-hat is drowning out your singer, like.
You probably done this also. I'm sure you've done it. I know you've done it. Where if it's just they're not paying attention, not listening. If you're really not recording like that, you just mute it out. And if it's right beside the timbale or the Congo, they're not playing the time. I just mute those instruments out, so they won't catch up on that whatever's going on.
It's so.
But it's annoying.
It gives me a
It's
migraine.
hard, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you might get there and it's I got to turn it back on, you know, something like that. But
Yeah, as long as if you know how to keep that sizzle where it's not like super duper loud and it's not drawing the stage, it's easy because I can mix it where you could hear it, but it's not intrusive. It's not like
Overpowering.
It's not like, you know what I'm saying?
I did Petworth, and they did reunion back, talking about bad bands. Not bad, no, they were a great band, good band, but hard band to work with. The front line actually paid me to put the effects in their monitors.
Oh yeah, all the bands.
What band was that?
Petworth. So every time whoever you heard out of the house, he went to hear that.
Two. One. Say
In the
what?
monitors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Congos, he wanted to hear the flex in the water and stuff like that.
I do that sometimes.
In the monitor system, you know what I mean? The drummer, he wanted all toms, floor toms,
Everything in them.
hi-hat, and and the monitors.
You see my eye roll?
And the monitor. That's like, I'm not putting you in the monitor. You're the loudest thing on the stage.
On the stage.
You know what I'm saying? I refuse with the monitor.
Yeah, on the stage.
Tricks of the trade, satisfy them. Let them bang on it, put them in the monitor.
Then take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna stop unless they're like, unless they really can't hear themselves. Like the people in the vocals, they'll stop. Like whoever's running the band, they'll stop and say, "Give me some."
Like I didn't know Justice J. I knew she could sing, but I didn't know she could sing
Until she came to karaoke.
until she came to karaoke. Why? Because the hi-hat would drown her out, and I would have to tell BJ like, your hi-hat is like, I didn't know the girl could sing.
It's all about finessing. Like this pull up some videos and see how these guys, like you said, you see Buggy, it's all Ritz.
First of all, Ryan posted so much video, and all you got. If you see Buggy playing at Society Lounge,
no effort.
He just
no effort,
and he's looking around.
He's a well-oiled machine. It's about his cadence. It's second nature.
Yeah,
and play.
He'll play hard at certain parts, but he always keep it like that. But when you stand in the house, you think that he's playing
cranking
super loud. You think that he's hitting like that video that we did at Baltimore. You heard how I was telling JB, I was like, I don't know what you did to this system, but that bass drum is knocking so hard. And if you watch him play, he's not even stomping that hard. It's just super loud. But he just knows how to play with control and finesse. And it just doesn't, you don't have to play loud, you know? You don't have to play loud. If you got a good engineer, he's going to amplify you. You know what I'm saying? But I think some people want to be, it's a pride thing. They want to be loud. They want to feel, people's recording me, people looking at me, I got to jam. You know what I'm saying? Man, Buggy been doing this for too long, man. He ain't got to do all that. So I saw some of his old videos. He was stomping like I don't know what. I seen like a joint from '94, and he was giving you this joint.
Yeah, his whole shoulders in it. And that face.
He's like, man, I was trying to put a hole in that bass drum.
Yeah, and he meant it. He meant it.
But yeah, he learned, over a period of time, you don't got to play that hard, man. But
I
it's
think
good. It's
PJ
cool to see
is
that.
doing a great job.
You say who?
PJ.
Oh, PJ's, man, he's. I wish, I'm like, man, if him and Quick.
Yeah, I love
did
Quick.
awesome jobs backing up for Backyard.
I love Quick.
But PJ, once he got comfortable and started learning everything, it was like.
It fit.
Yeah, it was cool. I do think PJ plays the hi-hat too loud in small venues. I used to tell him all the time, like, bro, just use
PJ.
your wrist. You know what I'm saying?
We are against the hi-hat.
But that's because he's a younger drummer.
Yeah.
You know, PJ's only like 23 or something. So
And didn't he play for Pound Speed Band?
he played with a couple bands. I know when he was playing with a band called Full Bump. Full Bump, and I think he's sitting in I don't know if he's sitting in, but he's playing with XIB right now. You know, and yeah, he can bounce. He can bounce for real. And I remember when we first came to the band, he accidentally was trying to bounce the song Baby Fat. I was like, dog, you gotta learn the beat. That's not how it goes. You can't do that bounce right here. No. You gotta learn the beat. So he's like, all right, cool.
Before we get out of here, we got a few more minutes. So I'm gonna ask this question. Can you guys, and I know we got into it last time, but we can actually get into it. Can you guys define the difference between a sound man and an engineer? This time without interruption. This is going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
I saw the
All right, so my definition. All right, sound man is a sound man.
I meant it.
So there's two different ways you can see it. You could say the sound man might be the guy that brings the equipment in there, or a sound man is the guy that turns the knobs. But he doesn't really know what he doesn't understand the. All right, so sound engineer is a mixture of science and art, right? So there's dudes that got the science down pat, but don't have the art. So when they get on the board, they can't paint the picture. They just know, they could tell you, oh, this is going to create a square wave, and the frequency's right here, and pink noise. Let me make sure there's no 5Ks not bouncing over the walls. They can tell you that, but when it comes to making, when it comes to making the system sound good, they don't know how to do that. Then you got the guys that got the art, they got the ear, but they don't know how to work
manifest it.
Those are soundmen. You know what I'm saying? So sound engineering knows what he's doing, understands the equipment, understands the physics of sound, also knows how to troubleshoot. So if something goes wrong, they know how to figure out step by step by step by step. You know what I'm saying? Like if a speaker goes out, I know for a fact, let me go check the amps first because that's the source. You know what I'm saying?
Always start with the power.
You start where the source is at and see where, and then go. If it's the amps are on, but the speaker went out, that means somebody unplugged something. And if it's still plugged in, that means something blew. So you got to figure that out.
Follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah. So like, that's pretty much how I broke it down. Like the engineer is like the dude that is going to keep things running, that understands like how to make the system sound good at any venue because they know the parameters. They know the science. They know what the equipment is doing. They know what the equipment could do and what it can't do. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I got to tell people, like, what you want, I ain't going to be able to get at you because the monitors I'm working on, they only get but so loud. You know? And then it's going to get distorted, and you're not going to like a distorted sound. You know? But that's the difference. So, yeah, sound man, person that brings the equipment, or the guy that doesn't understand the science of sound. They just kind of, like, get on there and trying to figure out how to do it. So a lot of people say, oh, he's a sound man because he don't know how to make good CDs or whatever, or he's a sound man because he don't really know what he's doing, or he's turning knobs, or he's just pressing buttons. But a lot of times I tell people, if you got a good ear, just make sure you understand the basics, the physics of sound and all that stuff, because I think that's what kind of keeps me where I'm at, because I really understand what I'm doing. It's to a science. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm just, oh, if I turn this knob, it's going to sound this way. No, I know if I put it over here, this is going to give me 1K. That's the money frequency for the Congo, so that's going to make it pop. That's why I put it there. You know what I'm saying? Or if I take something out, like I know because it's causing the room to bounce around. That's what engineers do. You know. So. Yep. Because some people don't even know how to do what compression is. Like compression is complicated. A lot of people don't know. Compression is like, I'm gonna give you a good example. So if somebody's singing, right? And they singing real low at first, you know, then they switch to the song, I say what, blah, 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 like that, right? If you don't have compression, you got too much of a range and dynamics, right? So what you want to do is keep the range like this. So
in the
when
middle.
you have the range like right here, so
the
the
middle.
highest is up here, then you can turn
So
the
in the
fader
middle.
up so it sits in the mix properly. So when the compressor detects the threshold goes too high, it pushes it down. And then that way you keep it where it needs to be
keeps it
at.
even.
But you got to understand how the compressor works because there's so many different parameters to it. Some people don't understand it. So, like, take a class, man. Learn that stuff because there's certain ways I compress certain things. I might make the compressor kick in slow, like on the snare drum. So what it does, it lets the crack come in there. Cat. But then with that little overtone, that some snares go like, ka, you hear that overtone. If I want to get rid of it, I just put a compressor on there. But slow the attack down so that the compressor is delayed. So it goes cat, and then right here the attack, it cusses it out. So now the compressor, now the snare drum sounds tight. You know what I'm saying? And then you guys set the release so that it doesn't kill in it too late. You gotta make sure it time into the exact time of the actual ring. So I actually spend a lot of time doing that when I do my CDs. I would spend like 5 minutes just trying to dial in the right parameters on one channel. People ask me why it take you so long to do CDs, because I don't just turn it on and start. Nah, I doctored everything. Sometimes certain keyboards are up here, certain keyboards are down. I go in there and level all the keyboards out, and that could take 45 minutes to do, just the keyboards.
I also put a compressor on the keyboards
Yeah.
sometimes too, especially when a lot of these keyboard players, I call them, they're not playing chords, they're playing horn shots, everything, even they're playing musical.
Yeah.
No, that to me it's not music.
So I just gave somebody a secret trick that I just talked about with the snare drum, man.
Compressor.
You did.
Sometimes keyboards just be sounding extra loud to me for some reason.
You know,
Also,
keyboards could turn the levels up and down. So you gotta babysit them.
also guitar players as well. Some of your guitar players are way too loud. They are way too loud.
Most guitar players are deaf.
And they may
lot of
sound great, but the sound is not coming across to us the way you think it is. It is very irritating. It's like a yang 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 sound. I don't like it. It's not any fun to
I don't like when
endure
you put a mic under the guitar.
all night.
I like when there's a DI box, because if you got a loud guitar he gonna crank that joint out so loud that the amp gets distorted.
Yes.
And I gotta use that distorted signal to mix, and it doesn't sound good.
Yes.
So if he goes through a DI box, I'm getting that pure sound. It's bypassing that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Unless you request for a mic, because some people don't have the correct.
You know why they want a mic sometimes? Because sometimes they want a mic because the amp has some effects on it. Like if they don't have the pedal, they might want distortion on the amp and stuff. So if you run it through a DI, that's not gonna go through there.
I ain't heard y'all say nothing about bass players.
Bass players?
No problem, bass players.
I love Nate, man.
That's what I was gonna say. Because me working with Backyard, I never had an issue with bass. And I can bring in any type of bass rig in there. You know what I'm saying? And Nate never complained about it. Normally I didn't bring no bullshit in there anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was always something that he was cool with, or he kind of requested a little bit.
Yeah.
But Nate, he didn't play loud. Sometimes he might get.
He turns up on you sometimes.
That's
Yeah, he do.
sometimes
Yeah,
he'll get happy. But he does have to kind of control on himself.
Yeah. But it's all been on the field and the stage sometimes. But like I say, Nate's bass guitar sounds so good. You don't got to do nothing to it.
Have either one of y'all ever mixed with Obsession?
I don't think I ever did them. Nope. I don't think I ever did.
They bass player is funky.
Now, I haven't heard Obsession Band since early 2000s.
Yeah.
They crank.
They
Disrespectful.
yeah.
Oh, you talking about
Who in the band?
Ever?
Yes.
Yeah. Ever Brown. They from Calvert County.
Did they say? Okay, I used to play when I used to play in a band. We played with them before. They've been around for a long
They
time.
crank.
Because
They
this is
crank.
back in 2009.
They
I remember
crank.
Obsession Band back in the 80s.
Definitely
They
crank.
they used to have a white dude playing the drums. Was that the same band?
Speaking of ever, get well soon, sir. Definitely praying for you.
I think they did have a white dude.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him, it was two brothers.
Yeah.
One played drums and one played.
Yeah, we used to, when I was in this band called Mile Figure, we played with them way out west Bubblefuck somewhere. It was like, I don't know what part of Maryland we was at. And I didn't know they even like go-go out there. They was partying.
Horn section, everything.
Yeah.
They ever plays trombone, I think.
Yeah, they don't have horns anymore.
Really?
You don't really need horns in go-go.
They got.
That's my opinion.
But
they got
Major
Pooh
League's bass
cranking.
player and their guitar player, when they do their little
They play together.
back and forth,
Yeah.
man, that is so
This is all
entertaining.
about- and that's what I tell Major League. You know, be serious about your craft. Be serious about your music. Focus on what you need to focus on, but have fun.
Put on the show.
So before we get up out of here, quick. We got 5 minutes. 2 questions. Well, a question and a request. What does GoGo need right now? And what advice would you give to GoGo right now? Whether it be a person, a band, a fellow engineer. Just give them some advice. So what does GoGo need right now? And drop a little bit of knowledge on them, a little bit of advice for them.
I think go-go needs. I like go-go, but I think the sound of go-go needs to evolve a little bit, or maybe a lot. Because I have this philosophy that go-go transforms used to always transform every 10 years.
It transforms like gospel music.
Yeah, every 10 years. Because I remember when the 80s, how go-go's used to sound, in the 90s, and then.
Why did they play so fast?
Rare Essence, yeah, that was, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm about
Rare
to
Essence,
almost
ushered
died
in
trying to
a
work
whole new
out.
sound of go-go. They brought in the breakdown sound, would work the walls.
80 or 72 count.
They played so fast. And I'm trying to work out. Anyway.
Yeah, so like I said,
Cardiac
you know when
arrest.
Rare Essence came out with Work the Walls, right?
Yes.
That was a breakdown beat. That's the foundation of the
Bounce
style
beat.
of that. When Backyard started doing breakdowns, the dope jams, there was a dope jam phase.
Yes.
Where that lasted for 10 years.
Yes.
And then bands like Raw Image, UCB,
Yes.
all them sounding like they were copying Backyard, even making up their own dope jams. They all had 99s, 2000s, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then that breakdown evolved into a bounce beat.
Mm-hmm.
I still think everybody got their own philosophy, but I still think the bounce beat kind of came from the song Skillet. Because when Skillet used to play, Ro used to get on. Ro used to do the chanting and all that stuff. If you listen to the drum beat that Buggy plays, it's the foundation of the bounce beat. It's just missing that. That's the bounce beat, but Skillet's
when they do the second part.
Well, that's what Buggy said. Buggy said that. He told me, he's like, I started that. The guy just added a couple extra sticks in there and sped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was around when the bounce beat got created. I used to go to the Revolution Cafe when TCB used to open up, and they didn't bounce. And then later on, they figured out a bounce beat. Ass Clap came out, and it was turned into a bounce beat. So that's
softball band. Even before TCB was out there doing that, when Neil was on drums, before Neil was playing for TCB.
Neil is the king of bounce beat drummers.
yeah, Neil came out with that bounce. Well, he was
Started this shit.
So,
shit.
with that being said,
advice.
The bounce beat. So I'm getting to the advice part. The bounce beat has been around since like 2002, I believe. That's probably when it first started bouncing. 2002, 2003. It is 2020, right? It has not evolved yet. So the problem is the kids want to listen to something they can relate to. They've turned around here. Now we became a rapper town. They like all the young kids like kids. They like NBA young boy. They they got big 3-0 black. They want to be rappers. But back in the day, everybody wanted to be in the go-go band.
Everybody wanted to be in
Every
the band.
high school had a band. So the problem is go-go is sort of outdated when it comes to youngins, right? So we got to figure out how to
Bridge that gap.
And if you got to bring trap sound into go-go and make it sound like maybe what the rappers is doing, but still keep that core go-go sound, and I think the key to that is the bounce beat. I think when Polo died, the leadership of the bounce just was all over the place. I think Rick was supposed to step in and take over, but he never did because of the way Rick operates business. And he really should have just invested in his band instead of invested in himself. He used to have a company called Just Me Entertainment. That makes sense. Just me. You know what I'm saying? But
we got to get JB in real quick.
yeah. But that's my thing. I just think he just got to get that in. You know what
Evolution.
I'm saying? Yeah, evolution.
I agree with you on that. I think it is evolution, and
sometimes get long with it. My bad.
You didn't do anything bad. You spoke the truth. Yeah.
And for us to even progress, I think originality is gone because we're doing all cover tunes.
And everybody's doing the same covers.
Right, you can't
the same.
Cover. You can't make money off that because they belong to somebody else.
Unless you buy the rights to the
You know what I'm
song.
saying? Right, and who really in go-go got money to invest in it?
What?
No, ma'am.
So, I mean that, and like I said before, branch out more on social media to branch out. Now you can reach worldwide instead of just
In your area.
You know what I'm saying? So now people can have a taste of this. I mean, so
Yeah, we got
you gotta think,
step up
go-go
marketing.
It's like reggae. Reggae belongs to Jamaica. Go-go
But it's gone.
belongs to here. Grunge music is over there in Washington State. and stuff
Baltimore
like that.
club
You know
music
what
in
I'm saying?
Baltimore.
It's like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Got to make it grow.
they have progressed because they have reached out and market itself to a point where they can reach the masses. We haven't really reached that because we're always behind the ball or something. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like these little rappers, they become millionaires overnight just off of social
YouTube.
media. You know what I'm saying?
We're not
I
taking
think
advantage.
we take advantage
we got
of
to.
what we have now.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are, stuck in the ways. But like you said, I think the younger generation is gonna have to step in and step up to help push this more. And
Yeah,
really
they're the
push
key
that
because
rap.
the key to getting go-go to grow is getting the youth involved. Because right now, go-go is mainly 25 and up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody under 25, they like, man, that's the old school.
Yeah.
I never thought somebody would say backyard's old school.
It is.
Like, to them, the backyard is old school. My mama listens to backyard. I'm not listening to backyard.
It's very
You
rare,
know?
it's very rare to see younger guys that age younger who can appreciate sockets like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like my boys. My oldest son is 13. You know what I'm saying? His father's a go-go head. So he's going to listen to pocket sockets. So he knows the difference of a pocket
And a
the difference of
socket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's because you poured into them. And that's the last thing I'm going to say is
that's
we're
what I'm
missing the gap where, because you see, if you're going to go report, there was young people versus old people.
Yeah.
And it's not enough of the older guys coming in and saying, hey, man,
you got something going with you, but I want to help you get to where you need to go, because all you need to do is get your foundation straight. You know what I'm saying? Because we can learn a lot from each other. Those kids, they quicker than those certain stuff. They've hit the things. You know what I'm saying? And we could be able to show them how to play the sockets and bridge it to the trap stuff. But we gotta, get that together.
Gotta go.
Because I've heard this person, I'm not gonna name the name of the bands or the person. I seen a younger band come in that they played congos, weren't good at it, but they were trying. You know what I mean? But basically they were a bounce beat band. And then you had an older band that basically, played some of the hotel shows and all this stuff. And this guy said, "Hey, is it possible that I can open up for you one day?" And I'm listening to this conversation. The guy said, "No, I just can't put you on like that because my band grinded and got where I needed to be.
You need to do the same." And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
To me, I think it's a bad thing. I think you should have brought them in to help, bridging that gap now. Now you're intertwining these two type sounds. It's not happening.
Too much like right.
and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this week, and it's so sad because the conversation got so good. It's
That's
right
how
at
it be
that
sometimes.
point.
That means we gotta be back again.
Okay, y'all are welcome. You're definitely welcome back. It's tourist season. You're definitely welcome back. Shout out to our sponsor himself, the Wizard. Also, thank you to these great sound engineers.
And this is something Stan really pays attention to.
Yeah,
When y'all-
he gets
when
excited.
y'all are in here. And
We can't take any calls, Pumpkin. It's too late.
what?
No, man, we got to get off the
No,
air.
man, Pam.
We got to go.
But Stan loves us.
Yes.
He normally he don't pay us no attention.
So I'm glad you guys got
That's
to
what's
get
up.
back on the air with no interruptions. Go. It's time to bridge that gap. We can take this downtime to start building and working through those gaps. You guys, if you need advice, conversation, as you can see, they're willing to share knowledge. Reach out to Deuce. Reach out to JB respectfully. We will catch you guys next Sunday. I think I got a surprise for y'all for tourist season. Thank y'all for tuning in to them damn fans from the
I may
stands,
even be surprised.
right
'cause I
here
don't know.
on Vox Wave. See y'all next week. Bye, guys.
Flip.